Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of The Green Pill Secret. This episode is about I'm always right. No, that's a joke. Actually, the title may mislead you, but it is actually about people who think they're always right. Sometimes we call them narcissists, but they're not always narcissists. It's just people that believe that they are right. In olden times, there used to be a trend where the man was the head of the house and whatever he said goes. It implied the man is always right. And that's bad. Don't do that. In modern times, happy wife, happy life. We have that expression, and the woman is always right. Now, in domestic realm, there may be implication that he's always right in the business field and she's always right in the home. That I would say is also wrong. She's not always right. She's not always right in the home. He's not always right in the business. No, no one is always right. You see, I try to live my life through a Bayesian interface, as in, I look at the world as having priors, having this idea of what the world is, my understanding of right now, and then I see something that potentially contradicts or modifies that. And then I judge how likely it is to be something that I should consider, and I update my priors. I'm always allowing myself to change my mind. In fact, I find that the most invigorating and enriching thing that I ever do in my entire life is change my mind. And for folks that feel that they have to always be right, you're not going to win any friends that way. Every good friend and every good partner in a romantic sense compromises. In that sense, you're not just, let's say you have an argument, okay? Let's say it's something trivial like the fork should go on the right or the left. Well, there's no really good answer for this. And you guys could argue and argue and argue. Oh, the British do it here and the Americans do it here. Well, the British put the fork here because, they're going to pick it up with the right hand. And if somebody else does it here because they're going to pick it up with their left hand so they could use the knife. And it's silly. Don't worry about it. But that can still become a heated argument. And that one is a very black and white one. So there isn't a compromise you can come up with. But in no circumstances should it be the woman said it's this way, therefore it's this way, or the man said it's this way, therefore it's this way. It always has to be sometimes he's right, sometimes she's right. And you finalize it, accept the results, and move on. If it's he's the one that got it, she accepts it. If she's the one that got it, he accepts it. It's that simple. Now, politics or religion. These are things that are a little bit hard to sort of piece out because let's put it simple. Some people like who might be in the White House. Some people don't like who might be in the White House. I'm not going to say anything about that person, but I'm just going to say if you guys are up in arms about who should and shouldn't be in that White House, the President of the United States, you might have to do one other thing, which is always an open option to y'all. Agree to disagree. Some arguments aren't worth winning. Some things are just so fundamental and core to the other individual and to you that peace and agreeing to disagree is all you may need for a stable and happy life. I know that my ex-wife and I used to get into these crazy knockdown battles, and neither one of us would agree to disagree. All of us just were trying to convince the other because of my fundamental points of view and her fundamental points of view. Now, me, I try to form fundamentals that aren't so much political these days as much as positions, as in, I like electric cars. I want to promote electric cars, and I think electric cars are good. For the environmental concept, yes. For the energy security in terms of domestic fuel, yes. For the ability to charge your car at home because you live in a house, yes. And all the other things that are, and they're fast and they're energy efficient and all of these other things that they're just wonderful. I like them and I promote them and I want to see more, potential subsidies or whatever, or just put in more charging stations, whatever. Just make it easier to own an electric car. Not everyone should have an electric car. I totally recognize that. If you live out in the countryside and there are no charging stations and the nearest charging station is more than the range of your car, get a truck. You probably need a truck. And there are electric trucks. The Ford F-150, I love it. The Cybertruck, I don't so much love it, but to each their own. The point is, I love electric cars, and I like the idea of one person, one vote. So I support the national popular vote, but I don't do it because of some party loyalty. I do it because I see the potential of the popular vote not going to the winner, and or the winner not becoming the winner of the popular vote not becoming president. And while that implies that I have a certain party affinity, I say it because I know it can happen in the other direction. And that's what's sad, because most of the people that argue it don't know how close, for instance, in 2004, John Kerry came to beating George W. Bush. Really, just a few tens of thousands of votes in a few key swing states. And you would have seen exactly the same thing that many on the left complain about happening to the right. That's why a national popular vote is the positive thing, because who wants a few key votes in a few key states to decide the fate of the entire country? So, again, nonpartisan, and that's what I support. And I support equal rights for women. That's another thing, and I have a short on that. And it's something that is very dear to my heart, because I can't understand how we couldn't have a world, or at least a country, where my rights are the same as her rights. Why? That just seems logical and perfect. And give her those rights so she can argue with me and she can win some of them and I can win some of them. Because that's all it is. It's just allowing us to be open-minded. And while those are priors that are very hard to change, because I've heard lots of arguments against them, and I know the refutations of those arguments. So to change that prior, you can, but you have to work very, very hard, because I've heard almost every argument there is to tell. So you're not, if you're going to tell me something I already know, I already have a refutation for it, and that's not what's going to go. But on the other hand, if you tell me that this red background isn't right for me because I'm wearing a pink shirt, well, hey, I can hear you. Next week it won't be. Next week the background will be different. The shirt will be different. That's okay. All I'm saying is that having these disputes, having arguments, there's nothing wrong with that. But no one is the de facto winner from the beginning. Every argument stands on its level of proposition and post-proposition. It is like a debate. Until the debate is over, until the argument is done, It's not fair to say who won or who lost. And in many fights, no one wins anyway. I mean, that's the truth. Even if you won the fight, you might go off angry. And if you lost the fight, you're certainly going off angry. So if you can do these disagreements and keep them a little bit toned down in terms of the emotional energy, you're probably better off. But for the most part, just be good to each other. Nobody's always right. Nobody's always wrong. But as long as you argue in love, let love bring you through the argument and find peace. And that's my advice to y'all. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Bye now.